Mali just beat the US at its own game. In 2 weeks, Mali challenged the US on a controversial visa policy and got the US to back down. The West African nation was added to the visa bond pilot. So anybody applying for a business or tourist visa had to pay a deposit, $10,000, maybe $15,000. So Mali said, we'll apply an identical policy. So any Americans applying for visas to Mali would pay the same. In 2 weeks, Mali was dropped from that list. All the other African nations on the list are still on that list, but not Mali. Tanzania, Sao Tome and Principe, the Gambia, Zambia, Malawi. But Mali, by challenging the US, got them to back down.
Mali said tit for tat, an eye for an eye, baby. For those not keeping up with the geopolitical world, I'll explain. So America has made a list of numerous African nations who have to pay between 5,000 and 10,000 US dollars for a visa, just before even going on the plane, yeah? Now, many African nations are taking it on the chin, but President Assimi Goïta, excuse my pronunciation, of Mali, said hell to the no, an eye for an eye. So what he decided to do is, you're going to charge us 10,000 before even getting a visa, before even going into the plane? Say less. We're going to do the same for you. So for any American ambassador, politician, press who wants to come here, we were paying 10,000 as well. It's only fair. An eye for an eye. Can you complain about that? No, you can't. Now, something strange happened. I'm seeing news today saying Mali has been removed from that visa bond scheme now. I wonder why, though. I wonder why. Huh? Why have they been removed? I'll tell you why. They have self-respect. They respect their nations. They respect their standards. Yeah? And they've got a vision for the future. Yeah? Enough of this puppet leadership. Enough of this kicking around Africa to get cheap resources, to get cheap labor. They said, no, you can't do that to us no more. Okay? We're going to stand firm. Respect us, and we'll respect you. Disrespect us, and we'll disrespect you. Yeah? And it appears the American government recognizes strength. Even though they look down on the continent, they realized this is a bad idea because we'll be alienating these people. And if we alienate them, they're going to be trading with the other side. And the continent of Africa is full of many, many resources, which they need in the future, of course. They know that. So having this tit for tat 11K visa bond, it wouldn't be good for them. Yeah? Making it harder for them to travel to these nations when they have one of the strongest passports on the whole planet. It wouldn't be good for them. It wouldn't look good for them. And if other African nations followed suit, seeing the success, I'm telling you, it wouldn't be good for them. So they knew, they realized. I'm pretty sure that's what they realized. So yes, God bless Mali. God bless AES. Stand up for your continent. Stand up for your nation. Have pride. Americans have pride in their nation. I respect what they do. But also respect yourself. That's what you got to do.
You know when you see something and you cannot unsee it anymore? When the USA reversed its visa bond on Mali, most people thought it was a small diplomatic change. But what if I told you it's linked to something much bigger? Listen very carefully. Minerals, power, and global competition. You see, a few weeks ago, the United States, quietly dropped a rule that requires Malians to pay thousands in visa bonds before entering the country. On the surface, it looked like just a policy adjustment, but look closer. And you'll notice it happened right after the world's biggest economies are fighting for control over critical minerals. China recently limited exports of materials like gallium, germanium, and graphite, the stuff that powers electric cars, batteries, and smartphones. The West depends on those resources. So for now, they're searching for new suppliers. And Mali happens to have gold, lithium, and uranium, 3 minerals that every major power suddenly needs. At the same time, Mali's building a Russian-backed gold refinery and renegotiating mining laws to keep more wealth at home. So when the United States softened its visa policy, it wasn't just about diplomacy, it was also about access, relationships, and timings. Because the balance of power over resources is shifting fast. Africa is no longer just the supplier, it's become the decider. Please, let's wake up and see the truth. Because this is the Africa you're not shown, but I'm here to show you.
Is this what we call drinking a cup of their own medicine, or what should we call it, guys? Because personally, I think Mali just outsmarted the United States and used their tactics against the same people who imposed these tactics. Because telling the people of Mali, if you want to visit the United States, you'll have to pay a visa bond of up to $15,000 and then expect Mali or any other country not to retaliate. It is so diabolic. I mean, Mali literally gave these people the cup of their own medicine. So for you, you might be wondering why. I mean, why did they do this? United States came up with, they just woke up a day and decided, you know what, for the Mali people to visit the United States, they'll have to pay us a bond of $15,000. And then the president of Mali just said, an eye for an eye, yes, a tooth for a tooth. We are just going to do the same thing they've done to our people. If our people are paying them $15,000 bonds for them to visit the United States, then the United States citizens should also pay the same amount to our country so that they can visit this country. Because for the longest time, these Western countries have not respected the African countries. And as we all know, respect is not given. Respect is taken. Respect is earned. And actually in this one, Mali just earned their respect and made the United States just bow down and told them, you know what? Forget about the 15 visa bond. Forget about it. In fact, you are not even on the list. Let's watch these videos for more explanation, and then I'll be giving my commentaries at the end.
Mali are now charging US citizens $10,000 in order to obtain a visa. The government of Mali has introduced a new rule where US citizens will need to pay a $10,000 bond in order to obtain a visa. The decision comes in response to a similar policy that the United States have introduced for Malian applicants. The government of Mali have released a press release stating that the policy will start October 23rd, also stating that it is a pilot program. So what do you guys think about the new rule? Let me know in the comment section down below.
The United States has removed Mali from the list of countries whose nationals are required to deposit up to $10,000 bond before securing visas to travel to the US. On October 8th, the US had announced that Malians would be required to post the bond starting October 23, 2025. Not long thereafter, Bamako imposed a reciprocal measure on October 11th that required American nationals to post a $10,000 bond before getting visas to visit Mali, effective October 12th. Mali's foreign ministry said in a statement on October 12th, quote unquote, in accordance with the principle of reciprocity, Mali has decided to introduce an identical visa program imposing the same conditions and requirements on US nationals as those applied to Malian citizens. After Bamako announced this retaliatory move, the US recently revised its list of countries required to post visa bonds. In the new list, which was published on the US Department of State's website on October 23rd, Washington dropped Mali's name among nations facing restrictions. The revision was made on a date that the bond on Malian travelers was supposed to take effect. By the time of publishing this video, Mali was yet to respond to the United States' latest move. This has resulted in uncertainty whether Bamako would rescind its decision to impose visa bond on Americans. Following its latest review, the US listed Mauritania, Sao Tome and Principe, Tanzania, the Gambia, Malawi, and Zambia as the African nations that must deposit a bond of up to $15,000 before securing B1, B2 US visas. The B1 visa is given to foreigners seeking to enter the US temporarily for business, while the B2 visa is extended to those on tourist visits. The US said the visa bond imposed on several countries was based on the B1, B2 overstay rate per the Department of Homeland Security's financial year 2024 entry-exit overstay report.
Guys, a few weeks ago, I think like 2 weeks ago, I shared with you here the decision that the US Department took against Mali, right, to impose a caution fee on Mali for those who are seeking B1 and B2 visas to pay between $5,000 and $10,000 respectively before their visas will be issued. And immediately, General Assimi Goita's government reciprocated the same measures towards all US citizens who intend to travel to Mali. They also had to deposit a caution fee of $5,000 to $10,000 before their visas would be approved. On Thursday, October 23rd, as you can see here on this communique from the US State Department, that decision that they took against Mali has been completely revoked, and Mali from the 23rd has been removed from that list of countries who would have to pay caution fees before they travel to the United States. Guys, a big shout out to General Assimi Goita and his government and the people of Mali. Upon all the turbulences that they are going through, they have decided that they will not bow down to any form of pressure or whatever. You hit them, they hit you right back. It's going to be tick for tat. That is how they operate. And I would use this opportunity to call on my lovely president, John Dramani Mahama. That is the error he fell in by going to negotiate with the United States. They don't negotiate with those people. When you come to negotiate with them, they crush you. But when you hit them back, they bow. That's what African leaders, all our African presidents, need to learn from the Sahel. Burkina Faso did the same thing. They told them, hey, our land is not a land to deposit your rejected deportees. Here, we welcome everybody, but we don't welcome them under conditions. We welcome people who want to travel to our country free will and not under coercion. That is what African leaders need to learn. Our African presidents need to know that these people need us more than we need them. That's one thing. I don't know who formatted these, our president's mind. They need us more than we ever need them. Even if we decide today and say we are not visiting the United States or Europe, we would survive. Ask yourself a question. How many times did General Assimi Goita, Abdurrahman Tiani, the president of Chad, and Ibrahim Traore, how many times did they travel to the United States? How many times did they travel to Europe? Did they die? Or are they not surviving? Did you hear that the economy is doing bad? We don't need them as much as you guys think. These people need us even more. Wake up, African presidents. They hit us, we hit right back. And let's see who is going to bow. You need to know that we have those things that they badly need. We have all those minerals that they badly need. And on top of that, they come and impose sanctions on us, and our leaders go bow to them and begin to beg. It is sad. It is really sad. Wake up, African presidents. Wake up. Wake up. The youths of Africa are telling you to wake up, because enough is enough. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, guys. See you in my next one.
Breaking news, USA has removed Mali from its controversial visa bond program. So this is after Mali retaliated. So before, they stated that if Malians, they want to go to USA, they must pay $15,000 to get a visa. This is a guarantee that they are going to go back to their own country. But Mali, they did not keep quiet. They said, if you do me, I'm going to do you. So far in this program, there are 3 African countries. That is Mali, Malawi, Zambia, and Gambia. But they did not say anything. Only Mali stood up and said, you are not going to push us around. If you want to be respected, you have to stand up for your own self, just like what Mali did. And because of this, they were removed from that program. It seems like US said they need Mali more than they thought, because that is a lot of gold in Mali, and they need this gold. And this is the main reason. They never thought that Mali was going to retaliate. Like, how dare you? But they need gold in Mali, and this is the main reason why they removed this visa bond. They removed the $15,000. Now we are waiting to hear what Assimi Goïta, the president of Mali, is going to respond. But I'm sure he is going to remove the $10,000 for all USA citizens.
Major breaking news. The United States is on their knees to Mali. You won't believe the United States Department has gone ahead and removed Mali from a visa bond requirement that they had imposed earlier on. Remember, when they wanted to deport their deportees to Mali, and the president of Mali went ahead and said, no, you cannot deport them here. They went ahead and actually put a bond on them, a 5,000 US dollar to any Malian who will be willing to visit the United States. And Assimi Goïta, the Malian president, retaliated with immediate effect. He went ahead and doubled the price. He went ahead and imposed 10,000 US dollar to any United States citizens who will be willing to visit Mali. And that's how things works. And now the United States has gone ahead and revoked everything, because it's a clear indication that these Western nations, the United States, needs Africans more than we need them as Africans. And this is what most of them don't want to hear or listen. Africans, we don't need to bow down to these Western nations or the United States, because they need us more than we need them. You can literally see United States cannot live without Africa. It's a clear indication.
As they always do, they expected Mali to just, you've said we should pay the $15,000 for us to come in the United States. Okay, we'll just pay and come. But Mali retaliated. For the longest time, Africa has not been respected. And some other countries, including Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, they are literally showing the whole of Africa that Africa can literally depend on itself. Our citizens, if we circulate our resources within Africa, if we make our resources stay in Africa and build Africa, these Western people our people will not be in need of them going to visit these Western countries. They will stay in Africa because there is plenty of resources in Africa. And if this plenty of resources are circulating within Africa, it means that the development in Africa will provide enough businesses, enough money for people to thrive in Africa. And then these Western countries like the United States imposing this $15,000 bond to Mali, they thought that, these people, we don't need them. But literally, they need Mali. They need the gold in Mali. They need the resources in Mali. Mali is full of resources. So for them to reverse this bond shows us that, in fact, Mali does not need the United States more than the United States needs Mali. This is exactly the message. Mali people, you have something that we want. You have something that we want. You have something that we can use. So for us to impress you, for us to be allies, we had said you should pay that $15,000 bond. No, forget about it. Let's just be allies. Let's just cooperate in some businesses. Let your people come to our country freely. Let our people come to your country freely. And this is just the strategic behavior behind all these actions that United States imposed on Mali was meticulously researched and carefully choreographed. That's it. Because they knew if we do this to Mali, they might feel like we don't need them. But in reality, we need these people. We need their resources. We need that gold. They have resources. And we are not happy that they are taking to countries like Russia and all that. We need them to give us some resources. So we must impress them. So let's just reverse the policy. Actually, that's the strategic move behind it. I don't see anything, but what I know is that Mali does not need United States. The United States need Mali more than Malians do. Tell me what you think about it.